So I'm sure most of you have heard of Grandpa Clone Customs at some point. They're a pretty big custom LEGO company that entered into the market fairly recently, launching about a year or so ago. They've been a pretty big factor in the recent trending change of the community seeking a demand for figures that better fit into LEGO's design ecosystem. A big part of GCC's selling point is the fact that it doesn't look out of place next to official LEGO clones. I think the market has been looking for a pad printer that is able to meet these demands for a long time now. And while it isn't necessarily any new information, I think it's super important that we actually acknowledge how influential GCC really is when it comes to custom figures. I think that they really are the gold standard these days. They've dethroned a lot of custom companies out of their majority market share very quickly. I think there was always this demand for custom companies to make figures that match these LEGO designs, but for some reason there never really was anybody capitalizing on that market. To be honest, I don't even think the clones are the best work of GCC. I think other characters like Jedi, Sith, and never-made-before characters like Jikatsu Nu and Pawn are prime examples of figures that we never get from custom companies. All of these designs remain faithful to LEGO's design ecosystem. They're not out of place or overly detailed in some gross way. They fit into existing collections and nearly pass off as official LEGO. Some of my favorites include Padme's Naboo outfit, Kamino Jango Fett, and Commander Bly. I'm mostly using this video as an excuse to talk about my GCC collection as it's grown in size quite a bit over the past couple of months, and I've grown to become pretty excited about newly released GCC waves. My collection isn't necessarily the most extensive or most sought after figures, but each figure is just as exciting as the next. I mean, there are even some replacers like the Clone Officer Pauldron and Kama for both the Shock and Plain Clone Troopers that are exceptionally cheap options if you don't want to spend a lot on customs. Like I've been saying, this fits really well into the design ecosystem that I've been displaying them around my room, and I can hardly even tell it's not an official print. I definitely feel like I needed a cool looking commander of some sort with just ever so slightly different detailing to really make my clone army pop. I'm hoping that they expand to Phase 1 clones and more non-clone figures because I really do think it's one of their specialties. I said this before in a crossover video with Hello There Rex, but the figure that got me into GCC was the Commander Fox body replacer. I'm not usually one to gripe about inaccuracy or complain about printing, but I think I can agree on the fact that the official figure was super disappointing because of the single pass-through of white on the torso that made the print appear pink. Having Fox with printed arms as well is a nice touch. Something that's part of my personal headcanon with clone designs is that commanders will have detailed arms, but anything lower should have no arm details. I feel like if LEGO were to get into making more named clones, they'd probably follow the same design philosophy too. If customs had advanced this much back when I was a kid, I think I would have had a huge field day with GCC figures. This era of LEGO custom clone design is here to stay, at least for the next decade or so, and I think it's a welcome change over the over-detailed 360 prints that are still around to this day. By the way, did I mention that GCC also printed Mayday Fig's Zealous Hunter? They've been pretty involved in a lot of projects, and I feel like something they're really good at is pushing out new variants, new designs, and are actively listening to community feedback. They're in tune with their fans, which in a way I think is both a necessity and also a great thing to have as part of the reputation of a custom brand. There are a lot of custom brands out there who are just slow to adapt, and I don't think GCC is one of them. I know that I don't usually cover customs as much on this channel, but the fact is that I do a lot of behind the scenes work for some of my friends when it comes to customs. I think my heart is in both places. I love customs and I love official LEGO too. I want to keep a balance of covering both on this channel. I have a lot of great projects that'll be coming to fruition in the next week, next month, and the next year as well. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the next one.